my God, welcome. It's me, it's Comic Crack, and it's Sunday. It's the final Sunday wrap for 2025. So why don't we just get right into it? I figured tonight we'd maybe kind of look back at some stuff throughout the year. I wanted to give some shout outs to people, talk about kind of some of the stuff that I did, and then we'll talk about just kind of what I've read this week, which was a fair chunk of stuff. So first off, I think one of the biggest things for me this year was doing the MERZSTACK. It's kind of reinvigorated my love for all things Merzbow. It's been a full year of doing some write-ups. I'll make sure that I put links in the description of this video if you haven't seen it. I think that doing a deep dive, I've been listening to his stuff for about 30 years now, and doing a deep dive this year and really listening to his stuff all over the place, in the car, in the house, loud, quiet, wherever it happens to be. I think as much as I've always appreciated his style of noise, I feel like I've reached a different level with it where it's appealed to me in much kind of deeper, bigger ways. There's, of course, been a bunch of standout albums throughout the year. And some of those I tried to get copies of, physical copies of. There was a lot of stuff I listened to digitally. And I wanted to make sure that not only that I supported the small labels, but I just wanted parts of these, a chunk of this stuff in my own collection here. One of those, Marmo, is a CD that really kind of hit me in a big way. I think I listened to this, I don't know, 3 times, 4 times since I discovered it. So you can see the write-up there. This was a newer one for me, as in more recent listen, called Here, from L White Records is the name of the company, with some gorgeous design work here by Masami himself. Fantastic, fantastic record. He'd work with Slowdown Records, and this is a 5 CD box set. I guess what happened, I think maybe there was like 5 of these possibly, that then got put into a bigger box together. I just got these ones. The standout in this one that I still haven't listened to the whole thing of, I've just listened to some bits and pieces here, so they just come in kind of 5 little slip cases. Kerotope, I think is how you pronounce it. I'm assuming that it's another album that he bases kind of on frogs. He does a lot of animal sounds that accompany any kind of filters through his system. The few tracks that I've heard from this are fucking phenomenal. So I'm really looking forward to sitting and listening to that one. And then I couldn't resist a couple of records as well too. Let's put those there. One of the early standouts in the year was the album Storage. This was originally released in, I think, the 80s. I want to say 86. I'm not sure if that's correct. And then it was released as part of the Merzbox with a bonus track. So this one from Menstrual Recordings, it includes all of that material, including the bonus track from the Merzbox. You even get a bonus CD with it, so the whole album on CD as well. That was an absolute no-brainer to add to the collection. Sedonis is one. I don't believe I wrote about this one. It's a newer release. I want to say, yeah, it is actually. It's 2025. It's this year. So recorded in July of 2024. Another kind of standout, which maybe I'll write about. I'm not sure, because I've listened to so much that I haven't written about. This one, which is called Sibute Mosaic, I believe is how you pronounce that. Again, I want to say, I don't think this one was part of the Merzbox. This is, I think it's older material. No, it's not. It's 2024 as well. I haven't listened to this one yet. I don't think I've listened to the whole thing of this one yet anyway, or maybe I did write about it. I don't know. There's been so much that I've written about that I lose track. And then I'm waiting for another Merzbow CD in the mail. And of course, I really, there's going to be some shout outs, and I have to shout out Maudit Part. I won't use his real name because I'm not sure if people like to have their real names on the internet, but Maudit Part has been a big part of this channel in recent kind of months and years, commenting, hanging out in live stream. And when he offered to, he's also done an incredible job of making additions to a bunch of the MERZSTACK postings with extra information, places, pointing out places where you can get some more information, interviews, just a different perspective on some of the albums. So when he offered to send me the Merzbox, I was first absolutely stunned. It was the collection that I was going to save up for this year, was the intention. And I didn't put that out there in order to get something like this. Believe me, it was more of just a setting focuses and goals for me for the year. It was something to save up for. I still haven't gone through this particular collection. I've listened to it when it first came out. I had it all digitally. I've listened to the whole Merzbox a couple of times, but I have yet to kind of go through every single CD. The bonus with this Merzbox, of course, is the book that comes with it. So huge shout out and a huge thank you to Maudit Part for passing that on to me. I really appreciate it. So if you want to read more about my insanity this year with digging into Masami Akita's catalog in a big way, head on over to the Substack. It's free. You don't have to pay shit. You can read everything and follow along. I think it's set up so when I post something, if you put your email in, it'll just come straight to your email inbox and you can read it that way. It was a bit of a musical Christmas, I guess, too. Ended up getting a Mina Mazzini 2 CD set, a best of Mina, and it's a lot of stuff from like the early 60s, a bunch of stuff that I know, but there was a bunch of tracks on here that I didn't know. We listened to this on Christmas Day, like during dinner and stuff, and it's, of course, incredible. Mina Mazzini, one of my absolute favorites. Yeah, it's phenomenal stuff, especially from this era. Strong recommendation. I also got a copy of PJ Harvey to Bring You My Love, the demos that she recorded. It's the entire album, just demo versions, and an amazing listen as well. PJ Harvey, I'm a huge fan of PJ Harvey, have been for a long time. This was absolutely worth it. If you can get this digitally or listen to it somewhere, recommend you listening to it. It's pretty great to see kind of how clear her vision was right from the demo stage for that album. And then picked up a couple of records for myself as we were kind of Christmas shopping and post-Christmas sale. Something Weird Video, been a fan of theirs for a long time. Friends of mine turned me on to Something Weird. Doris Wishman, one of my favorite directors, an amazing record. I haven't listened to this one yet. Amazing record of incidental music from a bunch of her movies, some trailers. It comes with a DVD as well, and I think there's a little bit of a booklet in here as well. I haven't even cracked this sucker open to look at everything, so very excited about that one. Dylan Carlson from the band Earth. I guess he did a soundtrack. Him and the percussionist Adrian Davies, who appears also on later Earth albums, as he's sort of transitioned from drone metal type of thing to, I don't know, Americana, country. I'm not really sure what you'd call kind of more modern Earth stuff. I don't know this album. It's in the most ridiculous cover sleeve imaginable. It's completely stiff. The record barely fits in there. It's frustrating as shit, but it's a beautiful looking cover. Like I said, a soundtrack for a movie. I don't know anything about it. I haven't listened to this yet. I do have high hopes, though. From online, A Magic Whistle. This is the album called The Solar Cell. Magic Whistle Really, really great artist, makes his own synthesizers. I follow him on Instagram. I have another couple of albums from him. This one I missed out on until just recently. I didn't know that he had some new material out. This is really fun stuff. A beautiful album, beautiful artwork as always. Nice listen. I'll try to put links to this stuff in the description as well too for Bandcamp. This one I don't know much about. It's Universal Eyes. It's Wolf Eyes and Universal Indians, I think. And I think it's a live recording. It's from Third Man put this out. So a really nice kind of screen printed cover, double LP. This was used for ridiculous amount. I think like $20 plus there was a sale on. So I think it was another 25% off of that. So, you know, a steal, which I'm curious to hear. And then last but not least for music, I'm a huge Pink Floyd fan. There's been this reissue of Wish You Were Here, 3 LP set. It's the Wish You Were Here album. And then there's Rarities 1 and Rarities 2. We listened to the Rarities albums the other day, and they're incredible. Just kind of alternate takes and different versions of a bunch of songs from Wish You Were Here. So much Pink Floyd. There's a lot of Pink Floyd that I love. Wish You Were Here, though, is probably one of the tops for me. Beautiful, beautiful album. Really nice job with this slipcase. There's just some inserts with like photos and art and stuff. There isn't any write-up about it. I wish there was like a little booklet that talked a little bit about the recording of that album. So that's it for the music stuff. Like I said, if you're into some oddball noise, check out the MERZSTACK. Follow the links, and you know, if there's any of the music that interests you, please buy from the artist, especially use Bandcamp. Can't stress it enough. I'm a big champion of Bandcamp. I think they do, from an outsider's perspective, I believe they have a really good deal with artists. They also have the Bandcamp Fridays where the artists get 100% of the sales. They get all of the money. They don't have to pay a fee. It's waived for the one day. So if you buy stuff, maybe check out a Bandcamp Friday. I think it's the first Friday of every month. So for shout outs this year, continuing with shout outs, just recently in the mail, this year has been a year of tomes, omnibuy, and deluxe hardcovers and duplicates with slip cases and all sorts of things. So to add to that absolute madness, Stray Bullets from David Lapham. I have to give a shout out to Forgerelli. Like I said before, I had a chat with Rasa this afternoon. Forgerelli did appear with Earl Grey on his channel, so I feel like it's okay because he used his real name there. Scott, who's Forgerelli, fuck me, dude. Thank you so much. I don't know if you're watching live in the background or if you'll see this later in the repeat, but this must have cost a pretty goddamn penny to send across the border. So I really, really appreciate it. It's a book that I've heard a ton about. And Rasa is also incredibly excited that I finally have this book. After the stream this afternoon, she said, when you start reading it, let me know, because maybe I'll start reading it again as well, too, so we can talk about it on our Sunday chats. I don't think I'm going to get to it this week, but I'm sure I will sometime in January. I'll start digging into this thing. I do want to finish Rachel Rising. I would like to finish Nausicaa as well, too. So, but this is on the list of stuff to read. So huge thanks to Forgerelli. And the one and only Darrell D TV. Huge shout out to Darrell D TV. I did a short not too long ago. He sent me some stuff. The man sent me some more stuff, which was a real nice surprise. I think I've got it all here. What is this? That's not anything. So we'll just have a look through stuff from Darrell D. Again, check out the description, and I'll put a link. There's some stuff in here that I have zero idea about. This first one is one of those from Oni Press. It's called Hopeless Savages, Ground Zero. So I don't know if this is a zero issue. Oh, it says 1 of 4 right on the front. Black and white, kind of a bolder style. Like I said, I know zero about it. other than Oni Press is a company that I don't know, I find somewhat interesting when I've discovered stuff through them. So there's a look at that one there. Hopeless Savages. He also threw in a couple of issues, number 1 and 2 of Brat Pack, which I really appreciate. I do have this whole series, but this is the kind of book that I love having duplicates of, because this is a perfect thing to pass on to someone else. And of course, shout out to Colin Blanchett there, Die With Your Mask On, of Canon fame. So thank you so much, Darrell. These are really, really fucking great. It's such a great series. A surprise to me, Hamster Vice in 3D. I do have issue number 1, but I sure as hell didn't know that there was a second issue in 3D. So that's pretty amazing. It's funny, I flipped through this one and tried to start reading it. It's so difficult with these glasses reading these books. But as soon as I opened it up and saw the art, I was instantly kind of sent back to when I kind of discovered all of the offshoots that weren't Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Hamster Vice was definitely one of them. In the back, they have this insane, I don't know if it's like a leather jacket with embroidered Hamster Vice written into the back of it, or embroidered into the back of it, no less. Not even like a print. They went all in. Let's pull it up because it's just fucking insane. Only $42.50. Embroidered satin tour jacket of the official Hamster Vice. Join the Hamster Vice team now. They pushed hard, man. What year was this? Yeah, this is 1987. So $42.50 in 1987. Motherfuckers were really trying to cash in on that TMNT coattails there, because that's an unbelievable amount. Yeah, so there you go. Thanks for that one. That was a real, honestly, a real treat. Like, for real, I enjoy some of these offshoots because they're just absolutely ridiculous. I'll deal with that later. That ain't working for me. From Boom Studios, Mattson Tomlin and Lee Bermejo, A Vicious Circle, book number 1. I recognize the cover. I don't know anything about it. Hello, the library 8878. Let's see here. Oh, dang, another wrap up. Nice. I haven't looked at Hamster Vice in years. 87 was quite a comic year, man. Yeah, I mean, 87, 86, all of those few years there were bonkers. So this looks really good. I don't know anything about it other than I know that I've seen the cover, but I love the look of the interiors in this one. So very curious to dig into this one. Thank you very much. And then I think the last 2 here in the world of, I don't know what the hell this is, but I love the sight of it. This is Bulk Comics issue number 3 and issue number 4. I believe it's all black and white anthologies. And I think they're from, let's have a look at what year they're from. When I had to flip through, there wasn't any names that I recognized. I think that says 1993. Like Aaron Warren. No idea who that is. Where is this based out of? What does it say here? First printing. Man, that Kalamazoo, I think is what that says. I mean, damn, I'm pretty sure that says 1993, but that could very well say 1983. Who the hell knows? Because the lettering is a little blown out there, and that small print in my eyes suck. So these look super cool, man. This is exactly the kind of stuff I would pull out of a dollar bin or whatever to give a shot to. This is catches my attention for sure. Magazine size, independent, probably very area specific. I doubt this is something that got wide distribution European kind of style. They're almost Matt Howarthy looking as well too. Just make sure that it's not actually Matt Howarth. No, it's not. Man, yeah, the lighting in here is a little too dark for me to read anything properly, but there you have it. So Darrell D, another incredible YouTuber, has sent me a few things in the past. It reminds me I've got some doubles that I should send out to Darrell as well too. So keep your eyes open for that there, Darrell. I'll send something your way come the new year there. So thank you very much. Continuing with shout outs. We got a package from Nate this year as well that had a ton of amazing stuff in it. It's the second care package that we've gotten, or that I've gotten from Nate. And anytime I always make note of them in the book, when it's stuff that people have sent me, when it's stuff that I've taken out from the library, when it's stuff that I've read with my daughter, I always make sure that I make notes of it. So there's one page of a few pages in this book of some of the comics that Nate sent me. So huge shout out to him. And also, let's see, let me find the page. Nate and Nate. More Nate. There we go. Another shout out to Mr. Dan Elson, who also was kind enough to send me some stuff. We did some trades as well too. But Dan Elson also has a YouTube channel, which I would strongly recommend you check out. Same with Darrell DTV. Check out his YouTube. Same with La Raza. But Dan sent me some amazing stuff. One of the things that probably should have made the best of list, if I'm honest, is the Cosmic Surfer one shot. Nate, is it Nate Doyle? I think Nate Doyle and Patrick Sparrow is the other name I have written here. Beautiful kind of takeoff on the Silver Surfer. Incredible book, like really, really enjoyable. I see that he also sent me Chronic Idiocy, which is a Dave Cooper book from Caliber Press in 1991. So I love kind of flipping through the book to see what I've read this year and some of those extra notes there. So shout out to both Nate and Dan for sending stuff my way. Really appreciate it, fellas. Of course, Colin Blanchette, always, even though I haven't contributed for a little while, huge shout out to the man, Colin Blanchette, for Canon. It's been a couple of issues. Has it been 3? I don't know if it's, I don't know the last issue I actually contributed in. Plan to contribute to the one coming up in the new year, though. I've got 2 interviews that I'm working on, actually, with 2 kind of comic creators. And I'm very, very excited for both of them, honestly. One cartoonist artist that I'm not as familiar with, and then one that I've been a fan of for quite a while. So I will be back in Canon, but huge shout out to Colin. He does a really fantastic thing that every time a new issue comes out of something he's put out, whether it's this or Die With Your Mask On, he always sends me 2 copies, one for myself and then one to pass on to Rasa. I also haven't sent Rasa her package yet. So there is a Christmas package coming for her as well, where she's going to now be caught up with everything that I have as well too, that I put aside for her. So Colin's an amazing guy. Loading the Canon is his channel. Canon, is it Canon Big Cartel, something like that? I'll put the links in the description as well too, so you can go and support him. I don't think he has every issue in print right now, but you still can get some of this stuff directly from him. And I'd strongly encourage you to do so. I think you can also get, oh, why am I freezing there? I think I'm back. Yeah, there you go. You can also get copies of Canon from Domino Books. For those of you who visit the Domino Books website, Austin is carrying, I think, all of the issues of Canon and Die With Your Mask On, I think. So make sure you check that out. I hope that I haven't forgotten anybody from this year who sent me some stuff. If I have, I deeply apologize. But I think I've hit the people that sent me stuff this year. So thank you to everybody. So what I read this year, we got a hint at some of this stuff during the Friday night wrap up. I'll start with kind of maybe a couple I don't have a ton to say about. TMNT Journeys, this is issue number 4 that just came out. It's always a little dodgy putting some of this stuff on a best of list when the entire series isn't out. But I know that even 4 issues in, this is going to be a contender for a really, really enjoyable book, no matter where this goes. These first 4 issues have been pretty damn solid. There's a bunch of different storylines. I'm not even going to show you the interiors of this one because issue 4, a lot of those stories start to kind of come together, and it feels like we're building up to kind of the next stage of this story here. So if you're not getting that one, I'd suggest you pick that up. Where can I put these? I'll put those right there. What do we have here? That's issue number 3. That should go there. The Killer, another one where I maybe won't open up the and show you any of the interior. This is Affairs of the State, Part 2, 6-issue miniseries. This has been my favorite stuff from The Killer so far. This arc has been really incredible. One of the things I talked about this afternoon with Rasa was I like the mix of the internal monologue, the narration, versus the dialogue that he has like in person with people. I like that kind of playing with that dichotomy. I think everybody does that. I think everybody has internal monologues that maybe don't get represented in their day-to-day life. Now, obviously, this is to the extreme because he is a hired killer after all. So he has a very bleak outlook on humanity and a very specific vision of things. Hello, Dan Elson. Speak of the Devil. Howdy, Terrence. I'm getting real close to ordering The Killer after all you're recommending it. Yeah, I do recommend it. And I think the best way to get into, don't just jump in on this Affairs of the State too. I truly, truly think you do. This is one of those books where you do need to start at the beginning. You do need to get familiar with the character and the world. And that, I think, allows this particular arc to open up in a different way once you've sort of got to know the character. So this has been just a really solid read. I've been really impressed with it. I'd say that the last issue, the way it ended, I don't know if it was 100%. I don't know if it 100% worked for me. It gave me enough, though, that I'm really curious to see where it goes for the next arc. I have a couple of worries about it, but overall, though, it's been such an outstanding run or an outstanding arc that I can still very, very much recommend it. Another one that I won't pop open, issue number 7 of Absolute Martian Manhunter is finally out, and it didn't disappoint. It sort of had this feel of they were only supposed to do 6 issues. This one sort of had a feel of, oh shit, we have to kind of continue with the story. There was a little bit of that I sensed from it. I have faith enough in them, though, that they're going to pull something together and give us something interesting to read. That said, though, we all know the main reason that we're here is we're here for the outstanding art, and it delivers every single goddamn issue. So I'm really, really glad that this is still going. Solid goddamn read. If you don't want to jump on it now, wait until volumes 1 and 2, or when the 12 issues get collected, and grab that. Let me just see, did I misfile something in here? I don't think so. No. What else did I read? I think there's going to be 2 more books that I'll talk about that I read, and then we'll have a look at a couple of pickups that I grabbed at a sale from one of the comic shops. You'll definitely go from the beginning. Yeah, perfect. What do I want to start with? Let's start with this one. So it's no secret let me say this. Robert Crumb is a absolute fucking legend. Robert Crumb is one of the first guys that I discovered, along with the Freak Brothers, that introduced me to the world of underground comics. Zap Comics, and then a whole slew of people. I do have a couple of the Complete Crumb, some earlier printings that Fantagraphics was putting out. I've only got 2 of them. So I was definitely a fan. I found over the years my my enjoyment of his stuff specifically maybe sort of waned a little bit because I discovered so much other stuff. It's not to say that I ever thought he was a bad artist. I just found that I didn't get as much from Crumb stuff in the later years. And I didn't really go out of my way to dig into getting more and more Crumb stuff. I was way more interested in kind of digging into the depths of underground comics and seeing who else was out there and finding these really small one-offs or someone who'd been around just for a few issues and then disappeared. No surprise. That seems to be one of the things that I do no matter what the art is. That said, though, I also love the fact, I mean, part of me loves it. I also think it's ridiculous. I understand it as well, too, how he was kind of shunned and put away, and nobody wanted to talk about, or nobody wanted to even admit that he was any sort of influence, and he was kind of persona non grata. I get the reasons why. I don't agree with it, but I get the reasons why that people say. Then he sort of kind of came back into the limelight a little bit, and I feel like people sort of moved, some people moved maybe past that, and then it was kind of quote unquote okay to like him again. And then he puts out Tales of Paranoia, and I'm really curious as to how many people this sort of the people that he kind of maybe won back or won over. I wonder if this kind of turned them off again. Let me say this. It made the list for one of the best reads of the year for very good goddamn reason. This is a fucking amazing book, dude. I was legitimately surprised at how much I enjoyed this. I didn't fully know what to expect. I'd heard rumblings about it. I'd heard a little bits and pieces about what this was. But sitting and kind of reading through this yourself is something incredible, man. We had just watched Begonia the night before my comic shop, or one of my comic shops had ordered some extra copies of this in. The next day I went and I was finally able to go and pick up my copy. So it was Begonia the night before, reading Tales of Paranoia. I think I read this over 2 nights. I think I read half one night and then the next half the next night, because it is a pretty dense read, especially when you get to the centerfold here, which is just text. And I think that this kind of tells you everything that you need to know. Question authority. I think that it's incredible the way he's managed to talk about his concerns about things, his kind of acceptance of his conspiratorial nature, his kind of struggles with what's the point? Why are we here? These kind of bigger questions, even a couple of conversations with God in a couple of the strips. He has a comic with his wife that he finished off, Aileen Kaminsky Crumb. They had worked on this before she died. I think she died, what, 2022? Is that right? Yeah, died in November of 2022. So they were working on this. He finished it off. I guess what they had always done is they each drew themselves and wrote their own dialogue as kind of like a jam type of comic. This one's it's a really, really great story as she struggles with kind of maybe being an artist that she feels is causing companies to go bankrupt because her work isn't that good. I really like this story a lot. So I think that the thing that he does so well here is he kind of takes all of these ideas and puts them into context of someone facing things like his wife dying, someone facing things like he's, 82 years old now, something like that, much later in his life, maybe thinking about the end of his life, reflecting on things. I feel a lot of the kind of conspiratorial stuff too, personally, you know what I mean? Like there's a lot of stuff in here that I wholeheartedly agree with. There's a bunch of stuff in here where I feel like he leaps into an area that's a little that's a little bonkers, but I still can completely understand where he's coming from when you're faced with some things and the way information is passed to us, and the way that, I mean, the way the propaganda works in general. No matter what era you're living in, we're always inundated with propaganda. That's just a fact. Your country is propagandizing you. So how do you deal with it? How do you filter through that stuff? How do you kind of discern truth in certain things? He talks even here about a bad LSD trip that he had, which is very poignant in the context of this, because he feels that the guy that was supposed to be looking out for him was manipulating him in this heightened state that he was in. So overall, this entire package, I think, works really, really well together. All of the seemingly non-related topics and context, I think, work great as a package. It's $5.99 from Fantagraphics. It's a pretty beefy book, so you do get, like I showed you already, a shit ton of text in this motherfucker, along with some incredible art as well. So I don't know, man. I was pretty taken with this one. I think it's pretty damn good. Only other countries propagandize. Yes, sorry, of course. It's the Chinese that are propagandizing. I forgot. Thank you very much for setting that straight there, 420. And then Dan Elson, this comment that I missed. Here's a recommendation for you. Canary by Snyder and Panosian. I just read it, and it's absolutely one of the best reads of the year. Oh, shit. 3 issues from Dark Horse. Really good Western with amazing art. Beauty. Thanks for that, Dan. I will make sure that I make a note of that. So I'm glad I waited. There was a couple of issues of this floating around town because scumbag collectors decided to buy them all and try to sell them off. So I'm glad that I waited. Scumbags, dirtbags, I don't know. You pick the name. They wanted to make a couple of bucks off it. Whatever. That's cool, I guess. Some of us just want to read a fucking comic, but whatever. So I'm glad I got my hands on one for the cover price as opposed to paying like $20. So, and I'm sure that you can order directly from Fantagraphics. I'm sure you can get it. And speaking of which, I did finally order myself a copy of the Jim Woodring 2026 calendar. So I will be finding a nice place in the comic cave for that when it gets here. So solid goddamn read, man. Why don't we talk about this one before we get into that? So unfortunately, there's actually a few comics to talk about here. Fantasy Club Books here in town, run by a guy named Austin, the Winnipeg version of Austin, the Canadian Austin, not that Austin English guy down in the States. We have our own, thank you very much. And he was doing an incredible job. He had this space at the back of a shop down in kind of off Corden Avenue, or on Corden Avenue rather, in kind of the Italian kind of district of Osborne Village. All of that makes perfect sense to you, I'm sure. So I never really understood. I thought maybe he was getting an unreal deal to be set up in this back shop. The stuff that he was selling, the stuff that I bought from him over the time that I've known about his shop is incredible. Nudity starts pretty soon. Don't worry about it, Chris. It's coming. Nudity is coming. I got all the dicks you need there, Chris, coming up when we talk about Anarchoma. Dicks for the dick. So his shop, unfortunately, is closing January. I think it closes in January. So he had a 50% off sale. And I couldn't resist. I've picked up so much good shit from him. It's been pricey. We're just not the city for this kind of stuff. I think there's a few of us in here that love this kind of independent and self-published stuff. I just don't think need a 7-to-4 dick to boob ratio at least. All right, I think I got you sorted. I think we're going to be sorted with that book as well too. I think I've got all the bases covered there. I'm really I could never find that shop, hard as I tried. Not on Google or directory, not on Facebook or IG. So he is on Instagram. He's still going to be selling. So it was the shop that he was in. What the fuck is it called now? I'm completely blanking on the name. Shit, man. It'll come to me. He's at the back of a shop that exists there on Corridon anyway. But our town just isn't built for this type of stuff. Our town is really built. There's guys that are dealing with the blind bags. There's guys that are fucking slabbing and trading that shit back and forth. You know what I mean? Like, we're a very superhero town. There's independent scene for sure. But I think this small press and self-published stuff, that's a really niche market. It's like, I would love there to be a record shop that sold strictly noise releases, but it'll be me and 5 guys in there trying to keep that business afloat. And it's going to cost that person a fucking arm and a leg to bring this shit in for us. So he doesn't exist anymore. Anyway, long fucking story short, I went and picked up some shit from him. And one of the books I picked up was something called Litter Pig. I think issue number 5 of this just came out. If it'll focus, you'll get, yeah, there you go. Evan Collis, he is on Instagram, so check him out. This is from 2020. Amazing little book here. Really, really nice interior black and white art. The story itself sort of has, like, in the Kamui books, there's a real focus on nature, just being nature with some narration. This is a silent book, so it sort of has a Kamui type of vibe, but it also almost rides a little bit on like a Jim Woodring type of vibe. There's this world that you're introduced to that this pig exists in, and he just gets tormented by his surroundings. And he ends up running and finding a carnival as this kind of pursuit keeps happening. He eventually dons the head of some sort of puppet, mannequin, whatever. So almost takes on the persona of a human for a moment before he crashes headlong into a garbage can. And really, really nice. I had a look at some of the other I had a look at some of his other books as well too on his website. And unfortunately, what's going to happen is I'm never going to get a hold of him because there'll be too much to ship into the country. Issue number 2 is this little fold out stage presentation that's paper, and it's kind of 3-dimensional. That's issue number 2. And then 3, 4, and 5 are more traditional. I don't know if they're all the same size as this, but it's good, man. I'm not familiar with Collis there. Riley Gray, 420. The store is called Riley Gray. It's on Corridon Avenue. Search up Riley Gray. I think his sale is still going on. I think they're still open. I doubt that there's very much left there. He does have some back issue bins as well. Very generic stuff, though. I didn't take a deep dive into the back issue bin. So Riley Gray is the store that he exists in, and he's at the back of that shop. So if you want to go and check it out. I thought Winnipeg was a great comic city, even for that super indie stuff. It's a good comic city, no doubt about it. There's a lot of great comic shops here, absolutely. But the small press and self-published stuff just isn't where it's at. Not trying to make excuses, though. I'd really recommend maybe he's set up at small comic cons, can make a month sale in one show without that huge rent cost, 100%. And like I said, I think he's going to be still selling online. He has a newsletter that you can sign up to. I think he's going to be doing some of those smaller markets as well. Cons and the swap meet. Look at this. Gary Usher, welcome. I'm jealous you found some Evan Collis comics. Yeah, man. What do you know about Evan Collis? How much has he done? Has it just been Litter Pig? Yeah, I'm curious to know more about him. Another one I picked up from Fantasy Club Books was What's Fear Got to Do with It by Ivana Filipovich. This is from Conundrum Press, which is a Canadian publisher. Just a small square bound kind of, I guess it sort of fits in the crime comics world, but a crime comic that's not necessarily worried about any sort of crime. We know that our guy is kind of like a lone shark and kind of, I think, does like hits. But all of that world is sort of in the background. The story deals with him and his two girlfriends, and honestly mostly focuses on the women and just kind of how horrible a lot of these people are. Really intriguing, quick read here. I enjoyed this quite a bit. Someone else who I found on Instagram, I think maybe there was one other comics work that Ivana has done. I'm not 100% sure. Sometimes I just do searches and just start following people instead of really digging into everything that they've done. Yeah, another recommendation for sure. What's Fear got to do with it? And I think it's all of this stuff that I'm going to miss about having an actual shop to go through. I never would have heard about this. This isn't on my radar. I don't even think this is something that like Domino would have, especially since it's a Canadian publisher. So I don't know where I would find out about something like this. So it's one of those things of, it's so disappointing that some of these places just can't exist, because it is a way for people like me to kind of discover some of this work that would be completely off of my radar. Yeah, unfortunate. He had the kind of the clencher for it for me, though, was an artist by the name of Matt Locke. This is Undead Artifacts from Hollow Press. It's a box. It's limited to 2,000 copies. There's everything that's contained in it. What is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 mini comics, art zines, whatever you want to call them. Austin has been bringing in a lot of Hollow Press stuff. One of the things I was hoping to find still there, I'm not surprised that it's gone though, was he had this Matt Brinkman oversized book in there that it was pretty pricey, but at 50% off, I was hoping that would still be there to pick it up. So I think this one is about $50 is what he had it priced at. So $25 to get 15 mini comics. When I got home, I only intended to kind of sit and have a quick 5-10 minute flip through. I ended up sitting with this for about an hour and a half, and got completely absorbed with this. This is an incredible way to present someone's kind of artistic output. I'll take some of these out and we'll have a look through some of this stuff. Just bear with me here so I don't make a complete mess of it. So there's a good chunk of stuff. So you get all sizes of comics, from the very smallest, which is this one. Looks almost as big as something you'd get out of a bubblegum machine. And this is just a little single page art mini here. Most of this stuff is just artwork that's presented, but I do feel like this is very much in the comic book realm here, even though they're not necessarily sequential stories. I think all of it together does kind of give you a view of a universe that this guy is kind of creating. Every single book is another element of that universe. It almost feels like you're discovering characters and like denizens. There's definitely a D&D type of feel to some of this, but there's a book in here that has a very big Tetsunori Tawaraya feel to it, of kind of monsters and landscapes. There's one that's focused on vehicles and kind of that kind of combat, almost like a Car Wars type of thing. This is one called Bruegel on Mars. I contacted him through Instagram. He's on Instagram as well. There's a couple of pieces that I was hoping to buy from him. One of them is this one here. I love this kind of character makes an appearance in another kind of a comic story. Actually, I think he's called not the Watcher, but like I don't know. We'll find it when we get to it. I can't remember what the character is called in the comic itself. So I'll just kind of show you some random bits and pieces here. So I was really taken by this work and have kind of done a little bit of a back and forth with him. He is somebody that I'm trying to interview for Canon. So we've just started that process through emails. We'll see how it goes. Yeah, it's a bit tougher interviewing some. I mean, some parts of it are easier. Some are a little more difficult. Not knowing who an artist is, in a way, it's kind of easier to get into having a conversation with them because everything is open. But not kind of having that insight, I find, is a little bit of a negative sometimes too, because I don't want to just bombard them with dumbass questions. But we'll see how it goes. I have high hopes. He seems like a very nice guy, so it should be a great conversation. Post-apocalypse. Some more zines. So it looks like there's a variety of techniques going on here. Lots of like pencil crayon. It looks like maybe even some crayons, maybe even just some pencils and inks. Yeah, but then we get stuff like this, more kind of horror type of elements, but still extremely cartoony. Again, with like that style that I really resonates with me. Some of that not naive style, but like there's a definite look to this stuff, right? So it even seems like we get some almost pages that are kind of scrapbook together into the book as well too. I mean, look at this dude. That's an incredible image there. Let's see if I can find the this is the one here. One of the bigger zines in here, and this is the one that's all the vehicles, almost an Akira look to some of this stuff here, but this is kind of like the Carnage and the Car Wars type of world here. Some more kind of densely drawn pages here, so really great. This is the one that kind of had a Tetsunori vibe for me. Color schemes looks like pencil crayon throughout it, but that has that very kind of bold look that I love about Tawaraya's stuff too. So one of the standouts in this collection actually is this book, but everything has been phenomenal. And here is, yeah, here we go. So here's kind of one of the very few comics that come in with this, and it's still very much put together, like collection of pieces and then some story sort of linking everything together. This one kind of starts off as going to like an art show. The private viewer is the character. So this was a page I was looking to buy from him, but unfortunately all the pages from this have been sold. He was telling me, but this is that private viewer. So it looks like kind of more fleshed out version of that one page that we saw there. So really, really outstanding stuff. There's a couple more books in here, but we'll kind of leave it at that. And again, one of the main reasons why it's unfortunate that he's not going to be in that location again. Not like I'm never going to see him again. He will be around to sell some stuff at some little events, but I wonder if he's going to do some of the comic events. I feel like he's more of a guy that would do maybe like we've got something called the Punk Rock Flea Market here. We have a couple of these more smaller markets, pardon me, in town that I think he'd probably be more suited for. What do we got here? That shop sounds incredible. I would be there every day if it was in my town. Yeah, it was a great spot, man. They were given permission by apologetic millennial hipsters. Okay. Hello, Raz. So maybe you're talking, maybe you're behind in the viewing. Maybe you're watching the Crumb stuff. Is that maybe what you're commenting at? So one of the other things, I hit up another shop that he's not closing. He's having to move in the new year. Cover to Cover, Tony is his name. He's been around for a long time. He's had a couple of different shops. But this is going to be, I think he's out at the end of January at Cover to Cover. So he has a sale every year. It was a 25% off sale. He had some stuff in the bins that I've never seen before. So I was excited to kind of get to dig through some of that stuff, because some of the finds were amazing, including a couple of issues. Let's see. That Crumb book looks amazing. That's new. Yes, that Crumb book is new. And then 420 saying, have you gone to the punk rock flea market? I haven't gone. I heard it's nothing but crypto hippies selling beads and gem. Yeah, I've never been. I've seen the ads for it. It sounds like there might be a couple of interesting people to see there. I don't go to a lot of those markets. My wife sells at some of the markets, but the ones that she sells at are really vanilla, let's just say. Not that there's anything wrong with it. I've got some amazing wines and food products and honey from those markets, but I haven't been to the punk rock flea. Sanctuary, book 4, filling in some of the gaps. I'm not finished reading book 3 yet. I've got the rest of those coming from Lone Star. I did a Lone Star order. So the new year will start off just like last year did, where I read a bunch of Sanctuary. Maybe it'll become an annual thing, but I'm starting to fill in some gaps from book 4, because that'll be coming up pretty damn quick. So that was great to find. I found an issue of Pilote in the magazines buried at the back. This is issue number 44. What year is it from? 1978, I think. And this is great. I've never seen any of these in person. There's a bunch of like the heavy metal artists that are included in here. Bilal starts us off. Everything, of course, is in French. And then there's some artists that I have no fucking idea who they are. We also get some Drouet in here as well. Let's see. Who else? Edmond Baudouin, I believe is how you pronounce that name. Not a name that I'm familiar with, but some really nice looking black and white work. So this is really great. This is another one that stood out to me. Marcel, I think. This is Photo Marathon. Really, really great style here, especially when you get into some of the character designs. Here you go. Take a look at some of those people there waiting for a train. Love the look of this one. Yeah, I haven't done any research on any of these artists yet. I haven't sat and kind of gone through who these people are. But a lot of really good looking stuff. A no-brainer. It wasn't that expensive. It was a few dollars. Yeah, I mean, why the hell would you say no to that? I already have a copy of this, but I think this might be a pretty big upgrade for me. This is Space. Is this issue number? Yeah, second issue. The first issue is a more oversized thing. Price tag on there was $6, 25% off of that. Very reasonable, in really nice shape. Jim Pinkowski from 1974. So this looks like an upgrade. So I'll have a double of that. I want to start putting together some more doubles, and maybe, I don't know, I'd love to put together a box or 2 of stuff and maybe do one of the smaller comic shows. He had 3 issues of the Comics Journal. I bought all 3 of them, even though I already have a copy of this. Again, this one might be an upgrade to what I have already. If not, I think this will come up for sale. Oh, is that actually on there? No. That can't actually be Will Eisner's signature on that. I'm just noticing this for the first time. I haven't sat and looked through these yet. Price tag of $2.50. That can't be real. Or was that actually part of the Comics Journal cover? I'll have to look at my other issue to see. That looks off to me. That doesn't look legit. I could be wrong, though. Whatever issue number this is, has some Hernandez brother interview in it. This is issue number 126. And then issue number 249 from 2002. I mean, you just grab Comics Journal, or at least I do. Whenever I see Comics Journal, you just grab it. So what the hell? Why not? It looks authentic, you guys are saying. Hey, Eliza, hello. You think that's authentic? Let's have a quick look. Let's peel this. Let's pop this motherfucker open and see if that's actually on the book. No, that shit's actually on the book. I mean, that doesn't look like it was printed as part of a cover. You may be right. That does look like a legit signature. If it's actually Eisner, his signature, I'd have to look online. But if so, kind of cool. Nothing wrong with that. So the final thing that I grabbed, and the final thing that we'll talk about tonight, is Catalan Communications. I was talking to, oh, I missed a comment here. I've got a cool pilot book. It's a hardcover collection of the first 4 issues. Oh, fuck. Basically bound with all the covers and ads and everything. That's amazing. Cool that I found that one. Yeah, I mean, I've never seen any of that stuff here in person. Catalan Communications, I was talking to Rasa this afternoon, and we were talking about Hollow Press, and we were talking about Criterion Collection after we left the stream. And there's some companies where I'm always willing to give stuff. Oh, okay, yeah, there you go. I have a signature, definitely the same. Good grab. Thank you very much. Well, thank you for checking that out for me there, Eliza. There you go. There's some companies where I'm just going to trust their judgment, and I'm just going to buy something from them. That extends to even some sellers like Domino Comics. Generally, 90% of that stuff looks amazing to me on his site, no matter what it is, and no matter if I've heard about it or not. I just trust his judgment with that. Catalan Communications, NBM, Cinebook, all of those places have a stamp of recommendation for me. In his shop, sometimes he'll do a photocopy of the cover, put it onto a backing board, and just have the price written on the back because he doesn't want to have it kind of floating around in the shop. This would definitely be one that you don't want to have just floating around the shop. Chaos and Comics, if you're still around, we got your ratio coming here right away. So this, I saw Catalan Communications. I saw this image. It looked incredible. I'm not familiar with the name Nazario. In our chat this afternoon, if you go back and watch that, Paulo Costa was in the room, and he was kind enough to do a little bit of research for us live and added some information. Nazario and friends started a Spanish underground comic. I think it was partially funded by, it was either Dargo or Catalan. I don't remember which one. I think it was Dargo. And they existed for a long time. And even during the pandemic, their anthology, El Verbora, I think is what it was called, was offered for free digitally for everybody during the pandemic. There was a lot of people kind of trying to, engage with audience and give them something to kind of get through some of those harder times. So it was available. I think the actual magazine stopped in about 2010. So a very, very long run, and all sorts of, according to Paulo, all sorts of debauchery throughout. So this is the segment of the show where I should really get some sort of title card where we go Comic Crack After Dark, because there's going to be a lot of nudity. So wake up the kids, get them down in front of the computer, pause, make the screen big, project it on your TV. Let's look at some dirty comics. So there's Nazario there. So Anarcoma is kind of his detective, a trans detective. And we get kind of the rundown of a bunch of the characters that are going to appear in this story. It is very much a detective story. There's this MacGuffin where it's this machine. Everybody is looking for this. Scientist has had this machine stolen from him. There's never really a description of what this machine is or what it does. Everybody is looking for it. all sorts of groups of people, including some clandestine underground type of cultish type of people. We have the Jones brothers here who have created this XM2 robot, basically a sex robot. You push his belly button and he'll just fuck you to your heart's content. This is the phony machines that are floating all around the place. Professor Only You and his machine is kind of the guy who created it. And then we get one of the gangs here, and then here's two of the kind of secret society, the Black Count and his Knights of Saint Repressit, Metamorphosina and her one-eyed piranhas. So we get introduced to them near the end of the book. Super fun. There's some Spain Rodriguez in here. There's some it's got a real underground vibe to it, but there definitely is some heavy Spain Rodriguez type of line work in here. Maybe not as bold and black as some of the Spain stuff, but and then it's also just filthy as hell. All sorts of fucking and sucking going on, which is where you get your ratio there, Chaos and Comics. Beautifully, like incredibly drawn, really, really great. The story, it's a bit disjointed. There's not much of it, to be honest with you. There's some pages, once you kind of get into the rhythm, though, of how he's writing, there's some pages that are kind of put together incredibly well. And as usual, I should have bookmarked some of them. They even, at one point, a couple of the characters here are reading an underground comic, and it's presented kind of in the middle of these pages as the story kind of continues around it. So there's some neat kind of layouts happening. Comics within comics is always pretty great. Let's see if I can find, there was one in particular, a page where it really stood out to me. And the colors are beautiful. The colors are so well done. It is a filthy, filthy book, though. And God bless him for it, because I love it. Yeah, so a page, this is the page right here. So, for example, this panel and this panel relate. This panel and ones down here relate. These two are kind of connected. So just the way he kind of puts these different elements, and instead of having them kind of tiered side by side, they're sort of staggered across the page. So you're getting almost like these snapshots of a few different scenes in various places. So once you kind of get into that flow, it gets a little easier to read. But sometimes it does feel a little disjointed. There you go. Here's our XM2 bursting onto the scene and beating the shit out of people. So really great. I'd love to find some of the Elvibora magazines as well too. I haven't looked online yet. There's a lot of Tom of Finland communication and conversation in here. One of the characters gets a new drawing from Tom of Finland that he shares with our main character. And it just goes and goes and goes. Anarchoma sort of ends up falling for this robot, and they just end up fucking all over the place. So yeah, there you go. Amazing hardcover, cheap as all hell, buried in the back of the magazine section, and had to come home with me. Catalan Communications. It's in beautiful shape as well too, considering how much it was. I think it was like maybe $10. Might even have been less, to be honest. So one that'll proudly be displayed on the shelves here in the basement. The deep, dark dungeon. There you go. I think that's it for the year. Like I said, there is I couldn't end off the year without doing an order to Lone Star. So I do have a bunch of stuff coming, some stuff I'm pretty excited about. A couple of issues of the Night of the Living Dead 1991 series, Night of the Living Dead London Book 2 from 1993. Carlos Castro is the artist in these ones. I've talked about these books before and shown them off, the few that I have. His art is a stunner in this kind of Night of the Living Dead universe, and it's really been hard to find these books. So they were the main reasons that I did the order, was because those two books became available, and then just built up an order around that. What else do I have on there? I've got 39 Screams from 1986, Adventures of the Mad Hunda Day from 1995, issues 3 and 4 of a book called Coda that started in 1986, Dracula the Impaler from 1991, Hand Shadows #1 from 86, a book from Tundra Kent Williams, drawings and monotypes. No Such Thing as Monsters. I've got a bunch of the Sanctuary books from part 3 coming. The final issue of Sandman the Dream Hunters from Vertigo, etc., etc., etc. Oh, Turtle Soup issue #2, which will complete that run for me as well too. So really looking forward to getting that shit in the mail. I hope it doesn't cost me an arm and a leg to get across the border, but hey man, I've committed myself now. There's no turning back. Thanks so much for tuning in on Sundays. Rasa and I were talking about just the length of time that we've been on YouTube. It kind of, I guess I don't always appreciate the fact that you've been looking at my face, some of you, for many years. I doubt that there's very many of you who have been here since the very beginning, but the fact that I somehow just keep showing up here every week and talking comics, I personally love. It's an added bonus that some of you actually want to hear my bullshit. So I appreciate every single one of you. I appreciate all of the feedback. I appreciate the comments live, and of course I appreciate stuff that people send in a huge way. It's incredibly generous. I'm always amazed that people want to send some old fucker in Canada some comics and gifts and things. So I greatly appreciate every single one of you. Thanks very much, everybody. Let's get into 2026 and put this one behind us, shall we? As we say, I guess we'll talk to you.